Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to be sharing my full setup of my main planner for 2024. This is the Take Note B6 size. I have been in this for a couple of weeks now. I wanted to get kind of fully into it before I shared the full setup, just so I could kind of talk you through all the different sections properly. And yeah, this is week number 3 and I am loving it. It's exactly what I wanted for this year. It's a very similar kind of setup to my weeks, but just with more space and a slightly better kind of layout for me. So without further ado, let's get cracking and into the setup. So nothing has changed on the outside from my kind of unboxing. I am just using the simple plastic cover that came with it. I haven't decorated the card or anything yet. By card I mean kind of the front cover card. I'm probably just gonna leave it as it is. I think I do enjoy the kind of clean look of this, and you'll kind of see that throughout the whole planner. Opening it up, again, I haven't done any kind of decoration. I've kept things nice and simple. The only thing I have done is added in this Cocoa Fusion card. I picked this up when I was in Australia in Officeworks. I didn't really have kind of an idea for it. I was just like, oh, Cocoa Fusion in the wild, have to buy one. This is a very cool, handy card with some of the thin strips. You'll see that I'm using one currently that marks this week, and then the other ones will kind of get used as and when needed, probably for the notes pages more than anything, but I'll come on to that. The only annoying thing with this is it doesn't actually kind of stay in the pocket too well just because of the size of it, so it does frequently fall out even when I put it in this pocket. Again, nothing done here, and then we're on to the kind of yearly overview. So this I've just set up with paydays and bank holidays. So if it's green, it's my payday. If it's yellow, it's a bank holiday in the UK. I get paid every 4 weeks, not monthly, so I do need a bit of a reminder as to when those paydays actually are. We then come on to kind of the tracking page. I'm going to use this year for basically tracking my no spend. So I'm on a kind of big money kick this year. We're buying a house, and so a lot of money is going to get sunk into that. And so yeah, I'm just very much not buying anything unless I really need it. And I've kind of not 100% decided on what I'm going to do with this page, whether it is just going to be stationery no buy for the year, because that is, let's face it, my main spend, and it might just be different stationery stickers to kind of denote kind of that, or I may change it up and kind of focus on certain things. So it might be that 1 month I focus in on takeaway, because I am still ordering takeaway, not massively, but I'm, you know, trying to be mindful. But actually 1 month I might set myself the challenge to not do any takeaways or not do any meals out or things like that. So I might kind of change it up. I'll still do my stationery no spend because that's my big one, but it might just be fun to kind of mix it up over the months. We'll see. We then go on to this other yearly overview page. I'm kind of using this as a bit of an ink blotter because it's literally just a page I quickly write in and then I flip back to my weekly page, so I don't want to smudge anything. But this is just tracking what I'm calling my hobby time for the day. So one of the things that I am trying to do this year is take more time for my hobbies, and that can be anything from kind of creative pursuits, so watercoloring or drawing. It could be reading, or it could just be doing something fun either with Matt or just on my own kind of from a gaming perspective. So playing board games with him or playing video games, just something that kind of takes me away from either working on Lethbridge paper or doom scrolling. Anything over and above what I would normally be doing on a day-to-day, because it is very easy for me to just kind of get a bit stuck into, I go to work, I come home from work, I either work out or work on Lethbridge paper, doom scroll for a bit and then go to bed. I want to try and make the time every day to do something else, so I'm calling it my hobby time. And then we go on to the monthlies. So like I've said, I've kept things quite simple with this layout this year, including these beautifully simple tabs. These are from the shop. I will drop a link to everything down below, but yeah, these, as soon as I was looking through my tabs, I was like, yes, these will be the perfect ones, because they're nice and simple and actually worked out brilliantly in terms of the sizing. So the grey bit you can see here was actually the grey bit showing the month from the actual planner, so it meant that I could line these tabs up pretty perfectly. I didn't have to measure out kind of the spacing or anything, and yeah, I am a lazy tab person, so this was perfect. And then in terms of the actual monthly, so I am using a few stickers in here, but like I said, keeping it simple, just with these simple icon stickers from the shop. So I have a whole range of these. I just released the final categories, so basically most things now there is a black and white icon sticker for it. And yeah, I'm just using these in here for main bits. I'm not using it for everything, so you know, appointments or meals out, things like that won't necessarily get a sticker, but things like food shop and paydays and birthdays and things like that, they go in there. The actual kind of days are literally my plans. Down the left hand side is how I had been using my monthlies for a little while that I kind of picked up on from One Book July, and this is basically week specific tasks. So, you know, paying my council tax, or when my Etsy payment is due, or when I need to pay the credit card, things like that, they go in here, and I refer to this as I set up my week. And so I add in my appointments in the weekly pages, and then I add in any of the weekly specific tasks. Along the bottom here are monthly tasks. So these do not need to be done on a certain day. They're just things that need to be done in the month. It could be something that I do every month. So this year there's going to be a blog post going live every month. Cleaning, you know, getting the cleaner in, that happens once a month. But then there's other things that might just be kind of coming up in that month that have to be done but don't have to be done on a set day. So for example, booking in a roof survey, an electrical survey, things like that. They live here. This was the one bit that, if you saw me on Instagram, I kind of struggled with what to do. I am currently using this as a bit of a log for Lethbridge Paper Time. So it's something that I did a few years ago and kind of stopped doing it, but I'm intrigued to try it again, at least for a few months, and see what comes out. But this is just logging every hour that I've spent on Lethbridge Paper in some capacity, whether that be designing or making stickers, filming content, editing, anything like that. If it's an hour, it gets a blob on here. And partly it will be so that I can kind of just track and see how much time I'm spending on it each month, but then also with a view to actually, when I, you know, do my finances and things like that, almost working out a bit of an hourly rate that I am actually earning, because it's very easy when it is a side hustle to not pay a huge amount of attention to, you know, not what profit, because I obviously know what profit I'm making, but just, you know, weighing up that balance between how many hours are you putting into it versus what you're getting out of it. And there is, you know, this isn't something that I treat as a, you know, full job. This is a side hustle, and it is an enjoyable side hustle, and it's a hobby. And this isn't me saying that everything I do, I do to make money. I do it because I enjoy it, but also I do want to make sure that, because it does take up a lot of my free time, that I'm spending it in the right way, basically. Anyway, on to the weeklies. So this was my first week, and I really liked this. This is kind of broadly the same layout that I had in the weeks, just obviously arranged slightly different. So part of the reason I really loved this layout was it has the three, it has the three kind of blocks, which if you saw any of my weeks layouts, I divided it up into three and kind of had three categories of task or event, and that's kind of home, and then shop, and then content, so anything YouTube, Instagram, etc. So I loved the layout of this because it meant that I could maintain this, but also gave me more space, whereas in the weeks it was quite, you know, the pages are tiny, so the amount of space that I was able to give to each category was small, whereas in this I can get at least 6 tasks or, you know, notes or whatever it might be. Then along the top I'm using this for events, although what I am finding is that sometimes I do have more than 2 events. So on this day, for example, we were booked in squash, I added it in the bottom. I could have added it there, but then I felt like it was going to get lost. So that's something that will probably get worked on over time in terms of where do events go when there's more than 2. There's not often more than 2, so it could just be they do get put along the bottom. Yeah, it's something to be worked on. But yeah, so that's the top half. And then the bottom half is kind of free space, which reminded me of a naughty planner I used quite a few years ago that had a very similar layout, and I loved it because it had a similar kind of bottom half that was completely free to break up and organize however you wanted. So you can just, you know, continue going down, and, you know, you could have this as kind of a timed portion of your day and have this for tasks. It's kind of free. What I've done is I've split it into 4, again, to pretty much mimic what I was doing in my weeks. So I have a section for general to-dos for the week that don't need to be done on a certain day. I have things that I'm waiting on, so this could be emails, letters, happy mail, my habits for the week, and then anything for next week. So this is just like a nice free note space just to make a note of things, so that when I'm planning the following week, I've already jotted it down. That was how I laid out the first week. I really liked it. I didn't like how, because I was trying to keep things simple in this planner, I deliberately didn't use stickers the first week, and although I quite liked it, I did miss the stickers. So this week I added in a few more decorative stickers. These are from the shop, these are from the Abstract range, and I love just a little bit of colour, a little bit of something. In future weeks I might kind of experiment with some washi here. I haven't used this sidebar at all yet for anything because I feel like I've got more than enough space here, but it could be that if I do have, you know, something else I want to track or write, or something that doesn't fall into one of these 4 buckets, then this could be perfect. You know, you could use it as a weekly gratitude log or something like that, but at the moment it's probably just going to be for stickers or washi or something. The only thing that I changed was I got rid of the lines because I didn't think it was actually needed, and because of the way the pages are set up, although that spacing doesn't look right, it just kind of, I don't know, I didn't like the lines, so I kept it a bit freer. It looks a bit nicer. And then on to this week, I've gone a bit more with the stickers, so I've just added in some weather ones, again from the shop. I think these look perfect in this space. They just work really well. They don't stick out like a sore thumb. I really like them. And then just a couple of watercolour dots from Sugarloop, and these are my stickers just to highlight the areas. Obviously I've not put one for waiting on because it is effectively within the bucket of this week, but they're still split up how they were. And then yeah, my habit tracking and next week. Like I say, 3rd week in this, love how it's set up, love how I'm using it. Alongside, oh, I will just talk about, so this is a B6 page marker / pencil board that I made many years ago for Astrology that I found in my stash. I was like, yep, perfect to be used again as a page marker, but also I just keep a couple of Martha Stewart, remember those, Martha Stewart sticky notes just for if I ever need them. And then we go on to the notes pages. So similarly to the weeks, there's actually quite a lot of notes pages in here, and I was like, oh, what am I going to use these for? Because the notes pages in the weeks were quite underused. I did use them for finance, but I've kept them in the weeks for this year. That will be another setup video, so I'm not going to go too deeply into that. So yeah, this one was a bit kind of, what am I going to use? And I have my commonplace planner, so my cousin is for kind of, I suppose, proper notes and things like that. And so I thought, okay, what do I use these pages for? And then I realised that actually one of the things that, and I don't know whether I'm the only one that has thought this, but sometimes when you've got so many different planners set up and so many different sections, when you just want somewhere to take like a really easy note, you then don't actually have anywhere because everything's got a set section, and then so you end up with like random sticky notes or things like that, and there's nowhere really proper for notes. I don't know, that might just be me. But I realised with all of these extra pages, that's what these could be for me. So yeah, that's kind of, as you can see, I've not used them a huge amount, but I foresee that these just will be used as notes pages for anything and everything that doesn't require, you know, a proper collection or filing or organising. So it will just be things like, so this was pictures that I needed to take for the blog post that I was writing. It could just be random little shopping lists for something, or, you know, packing lists will probably be a really good one actually. That's what these pages will be used for. Now, when I mentioned about these, so if you saw my cousin video, you'll know that I'm doing colour coding this year with the collections. One thing that I realised with the sticky notes on here is that the majority of them do actually match up to the colours in my cousin for the colour coding. So what I was thinking, and that's part of the reason why orange is what's being used for this week, is because I don't have a colour for that. So what I was thinking was I could utilise these for some notes on here if I may need to refer back to them. So if I need to refer back to them loads, or they're going to be quite like long-term useful, they will need to go in the cousin. But if it's just like a random note that I might need to know about at a later date, I can use these to do the same colour coding as my cousin, and then just have, you know, a couple of these quite small sticky tabs sticking out. And, you know, if I know that I need to find a random note about, I don't know, comparing envelope sizes or prices rather, that I've just put in here because it's just going to be a very quick note, I would just put the corresponding sticky note, which is yellow, and then if I need to remember, you know, what that whole conversation was or what that whole note was, I can just flip to one of the yellow ones and find it quite easily. It probably won't be used loads, but I thought that was quite a nice idea for those Cocoa Fusion tabs and for these note pages. And other than that, we've just got this little sticker book that I made. It's just got a few stickers in. One of the things about my no spend this year is around using what I have, so I haven't kind of solved how I'm going to do that in the best way, but one thing is going to be kind of having these little kind of sticker books to hand, so that if I do just need a quick sticker, I have one. And pen loop, but I don't use it because this basically lives out in the open on my desk at all times, and the pen lives either in the planner or in my pen jar thing. So yeah, don't need that. Just talk about the pen and the ink. So this is a TWSBI Eco Tea in, I think it's like one of the mint green colours, and the ink that I'm using is actually the Sailor 243. You will have already seen this if you saw my 2023 favourites video. Absolutely love this colour. It's obviously nowhere near that colour. It's more a kind of bluey grey, and I love it. It's something a bit different. It's not black, it's not too bold, it's really easy to read, it's a nice neutral, and it looks very pretty in the pen. And that is it for my Take a Note setup for 2024. Hopefully you enjoyed this. I will drop a link to everything that I've mentioned in the description, so you can find anything that you like the look of. But hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you did, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.